This episode of Big Island Adventures, I ride my motorcycle down into the coastal jungle and hang my hammock and tarp on the side of a cliff for some overnight camping. The next morning I get up, grab some live bait for some fishing, and then I watch the humpback whales frolicking in the ocean in front of me. Stick around, won't you? So the short part of this story is we had scheduled a fumigation on the house. Had some dry wood termites we needed to get rid of. So fumigation requires you to be out of the house for 24 hours. Luckily my tires came in time to get me down in the jungle here. I've been down about halfway to the coast in this jungle trail several weeks back, but my tires, my street tires, kept me from going down the rougher, steeper inclines, and I had to park about halfway and walk the rest of the way. But I enjoyed myself so thoroughly. I knew that this was the top of my list to return, but I knew that I had to get some beefy tires before I attempted this. I didn't want to slip and slide going down, and especially didn't want to slip and slide coming back up. Not much of an incline here, not very rough, just a bunch of tree branches, crap hanging off in my face, and of course it was raining coming in. I think I got here right around noon or so. Tried to get into the jungle a little bit sooner, but things kept getting in the way. It starts getting kind of rugged here. You can't really see the incline, but a little bit of a steep pitch and very, very, very bumpy. And the B-strom does not have a lot of clearance, so it's just kind of basically me crawling over some of these humps, and there's quite a few pieces of lava sticking out too. You can kind of hear my frame bashing and if not, you'll hear my frame bashing on the way out in the morning. But just crawling over it requires that you have something better than street tires, because you'll get stuck. You want to crawl over something without bashing your frame, you're going to get stuck out here with street tires on, which is why I was glad that I suited up with my special big block tires. Got some Shinkos, rocking the Shinkos on the bike now, and it's performing so much better, so much more confidence going in and out of places like this, and keeps me rolling through places like this too, because normally I would not do anything like this. Anyway, it's a beautiful spot. I'd spent probably 30-40 minutes here the first time I visited on foot, and I knew that this was going to be a magnificent place to camp. Well, kind of want to show you around camp a little bit of the stuff you're missing out on, because that's the kind of stuff I like. I like getting the feel of where people are and where they go camping. Got a nice little chair over there, but man, this is just always so much better. I mean, until you want to do something. A lot of times I'll bring my camp chair over here, so I've got like a little night table I can put my food or my drinks or my camera or my laptop or whatever, so that's always under there. But I'm a little bit antsy now, so I kind of think rather than just showing you around camp, I think I'm gonna maybe walk you around my camping area. And let's start by maybe strolling down on the jungle's edge here. because I haven't really gone far. The first time I came down here, or was it the second time? I came down here to peek. No, that was the first time and the only time I've actually been down here. And I actually captured that on video. So if you watch my stuff, you've probably seen that. But it's the one where first day I got my waterproof boots and I went out there and got them soaked, just hammered. The waves were up really good that day. Actually, for like a week and a half, almost 2 weeks, waves were just hammering. And they'd come in with these big sets. You wouldn't see them. Just be standing there, and I saw this big wave coming. And I'm like, oh, that's bigger than normal. I should probably get, about that time, it just like, whoosh. Went over, well, actually just, it kind of swept up on the cliffs and exploded on my head. Wouldn't be the first time I've misjudged stuff. I think this may have been what I was thinking of. I also think that this is a tidal pool. Seems like the first time I came down here there was water in here, and it looks like there's plenty of salt. And I'm not so sure tidal pool is an accurate description, but it makes me think that maybe there's enough water splashing over that this fills up. And it may fill up in the morning, I don't know. It looks like there's sand down here, so is it not beautiful? I mean, I guess you really have to be here to get the full effect. But this is just blowing me away. It just blows me away. Every time I come to the cliffs, it's like, wow. Wow, I'm so lucky. I'm so lucky. Any minute I'm expecting a whale to pop up out here. Just hey, Don. Hey, whale. What's going on, man? So the folks, there's plenty of folks out there watching this probably that are scared of jungle. Let me tell you something about Hawaii. We got lizards, we got geckos, we got things that look scary, but there is not a native snake on this island. So you can walk right through there. All my friends from the south would go, oh, Snake City, don't walk through Snake City, you're gonna get bit. There's no snakes on this island. How about that? There are coconut palms. Tell you what, I think it's about 2:30, 3 o'clock. I'm pretty sure I could take a nap. And why not take a nap in a island paradise? Who's gonna stop you? I feel very lucky to have had some of the campsites that I've had. Just hanging out on top of cliffs. I think that's a recurring theme for me, is a cliffside campsite where you can see as far as the clouds will let you. And that's what I've got here, and it's just I get in these spots and it brings a rush of emotion. And you know, I would say it's so many times it's almost tears, but it's just such happiness that it kind of overwhelms me. And it's just so much overwhelming beauty that's kind of, I mean, that's the only thing I can explain it. I guess I'm a little bit of an emotional guy. For a guy, I would say I'm fairly emotional. I stuff it all deep down inside most of the time, but sometimes I'm just overwhelmed. Sometimes it's like, nah, brah, brah, brah. This is not cool. This is not cool at all. This is not that cool. I've been to cooler spots than this. And then it just kind of overwhelms me and gets to the point where it's like, no, this is another top 5. And I believe that's what we have here, is a top 5. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I have been known on occasion in the summer to bring my tarp along with me on days that I knew it was going to be rainy, especially in the summer. It's nice to just kind of sit up under a tarp and ride out the storm. And the more I think about it, the more I think I'm going to start doing that again, especially out here. And it was about this point, sitting under my tarp, that I saw a spout. And I grabbed my camera to go see if I could capture the first two whales that I saw chugging down the coast. But by the time I'd got there with my camera, they had disappeared beneath the waves, and I would not see any more for a few hours. Now that was a damn shame. Two humpbacks out here. I couldn't believe it when I first saw it, because it was just, I saw a water spout just over the side of the cliff, and that's maybe 70 yards off of the cliffs. Grabbed the camera as fast as I could, and I was pretty damn slow. I couldn't remember where I put it. Ran out there. By the time I got, I never saw them again. They were going that direction. I never saw them again. That was still pretty thrilling. 70 yards away. That's better than being in a tour boat. Well, I got a real treat tonight. The whales were really doing their thing. They were putting on a show. I saw a couple go through here earlier. I saw a spout, then I saw another one, then I saw a second. So there was two of them. They came through earlier, and I got nothing on film. I've seen whales up at the point up here, and you know, each time I saw them, they were half a mile, 3/4 of a mile away. They're big enough to see that far. They're moving water and they're spouting. This time, not 3/4 of a mile, not half a mile. 100 yards off the first time I saw them, but I was 50 yards. Yeah, I was 40 yards from the cliff, so it was 100, still 150 yards. This time, it was 100 yards off, and I was about 20 feet away from the cliff, so that was fantastic. Not only that, that son of a bitch jumped out of the water right there. I barely caught it. It was in the corner of my eye. But I heard the splash, and I went, oh, and I saw him coming down. It's like, holy crap. And then they're just chilling. There's two more. I don't know if it's the same. I guess they move in pairs, I guess. Yeah, it's 7:45 in the morning. Had a great evening. It rained a good part of the night. That's kind of typical this side of the island. Got a few, I think I got a little spray on a few of my things. I didn't get them. I really didn't pinch down the tarp the way I should have, given I knew it was going to rain. Should have pinched down the tarps, but I wanted to watch the ocean, so probably got a little bit of spray from the ocean, and got a lot of drifting rain. Anyway, some of my stuff got wet, no big deal. Note to self for next time. I got my coffee made, and this is a trip. This is normally I don't eat trash like this, but it's Spam. It's an island thing. Spam goes into everything here. It's a Hawaiian thing. I guess it's probably back from World War II or something. I don't know. Got me some coffee made. Oh, got a critter crawling through my. Yeah. Anyway, hoping to see some more whales today, which would be awesome. I don't expect another whale to jump out there 100 yards off the cliff like it did yesterday, but hey man, you never know. Could be one of those days where they just sit out there and play right in front of my in my front yard. They're just out there playing. That would be cool. Well, as you can see, it's another absolute shit day here in paradise, and I've got some new techniques I'm trying out to see if I can get some fish today. All you expert fishermen, cut me some slack, will ya? No giggles. Nobody giggles. No giggles. No teasing. I am an amateur at best, and I don't even know if I would call myself an amateur. That's a kind of an insult to amateurs. So this is one of the things that you got to do with this setup is to get your rig out beyond the rocks and the waves. You got to actually have some weight, and this is a combination weight and float, which works really well. Getting your rig out there. The jury's still out on the catching fish part of it, but and what I'm using for bait this morning, although I have some other options, I'm going to try leftover spam, because the guy that I talked to, Justin, the guy that I talked to in the neighborhood the other day, was saying bread, squid, shrimp, and when he said bread, I was like, wow, those damn things will eat anything. And that's why I was thinking, okay, how about some leftover spam? I can hardly eat it. I'm hoping the fish like it better than I do. But and he's not the first one that told me the bread thing, that they love bread. These fish here love bread, which is kind of, I don't know, maybe it seems like there was somebody talking about fish in freshwater fishing with bread. Probably catfish. That's kind of, how about that? Y'all like that? This is about the only place I have found that the waves break before they get to the cliff, so I don't get wet standing on the side of the cliff. That was not that bad. Except already back up in the cliffs of the rocks. All right, just had some lunch, and I've decided to go back out and rig up my alternative bait. I've got a real weird casting system. I've seen this on YouTube. It's basically one line. It's a triple swivel. One line has a weight on it, one line has the hook on it. Here's the secret weapon, is this rubber band that I'm going to put around the crab. I know I caught at least one crab out there. I caught that before I started cooking, and I'm going out there to see if I've got more. If I've got more, I'm gonna sit out here and cast until I lose all my crabs or my fishing rod. So come along with me, won't you? It's been fun. I lost, I was like 3 for 3. 3 casts, I lost 3 rigs. These rocks are brutal, man. I've had better luck with just the weight. I think I've actually been getting some nibbles, but it's hard to tell with the surf, because it's so strong. It pulls on the line, it pulls the float down, and I'm not using a float now. So if they grab a hold of crab and run off with it, I'm probably gonna know about it. But it looks like I got some crab in there, so let's go see what I got. Trying to come up with a good method to catch crabs, like some kind of a crab trap. And the guy I met out on the cliffs the other day said, "Oh, why don't you just hang a bucket off the side?" And I said, "Ooh, that sounds like fun." So I only got 1 crab, but that may be all I need. Alright, so get the guy out. He doesn't have really any pinchers, so I'm not worried about that. Just worried about getting the rubber bands around him. Got those little pinchers underneath, see those guys? Yeah. Well, that doesn't do too good, does it? Alright. Guess we need to get those a little bit tighter. He's got one eye. He's got a hold of one eye. Well, that's funny. He ain't letting go. This is delicate. He's trying to get a hold of me now. So it turns out it was everything I expected this stealth camping trip to be and more. I'd seen whales before, never this close. I've never seen a whale jump up out of the ocean like that. Sorry I didn't get real footage of it, but hope you'll get an idea of what I saw, at least. And this island just, it really never disappoints, unless you don't like rain. If you're disgusted by rain, if your motorcycle has never seen rain, this is not the place for you. I try to tell people what they're missing out on by not enduring at least a little bit of rain. It just seems like I don't understand how people ever ride their motorcycle if they're trying to avoid rain. It's just one of those things you have to learn to deal with if you like riding like I do. But the trail was a little bit more rugged than I even expected, but that was pretty much it. And the only downside, other than losing all my fishing gear on the rocks below the cliffs, that's a constant disappointment. But other than that, riding through here, I picked up some fire ants that apparently fall from the trees like rain. I probably picked up 3 or 4 fire ants on the way out. They're just tiny little ants. I've never even seen one, but they are pesky. It's a mix between a fire ant sting and a bee sting. Both of them are relatively mild, but still, if you combine the itchiness of a fire ant with the sting and the soreness of a bee sting, you kind of get an idea. It's just really irritating, especially when you get 2 or 3 of them, just like I did. And I didn't know until I was out on the main road that I had gotten into, or at least it was raining fire ants. It happens a lot around here. But yeah, it's kind of one of the perils of the jungle. There's not a whole lot of peril in these jungles, other than getting completely soaking wet. But I'm so glad that I finally got to spend the night in a hammock. I expected it to be colder. I expected it to be wetter. I expected a little bit more misery than I had, but it was a very nice experience, and I would highly recommend it. And I don't really see any other method of camping. I mean, certainly you could bring a tent down here, at least this spot where it's nice and flat. But my jungle hammock finally made it to the jungle. I've had that thing, maybe a decade now, and it's a jungle hammock, and it finally made it to the jungle, and I'm very proud of how it performed. I did sleep with an underquilt, but I didn't have anything on top. I just put on a sweater and some sweatpants and some socks, and I slept like a freaking baby. I don't think I didn't even get out of the hammock to pee. I tossed and turned a little bit, but that's kind of typical for the way I sleep. And it rained pretty much all night, but I will be back in this jungle very soon. So hopefully you'll see more, maybe some other parts of the island coming up, but expect to see more jungle camping very soon. See you next time.